someone was convicted, it was an Anglican priest who trashed Roman Catholicism. So it was actually used against an Anglican priest in Canada.
It's basically to avoid one sect coming down on another sect.
Essentially, yeah.
Religious strife, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
What do these people believe? Do they believe in God, or what do they?
Well, a lot of them don't. A lot of them are atheists. They don't believe in God at all. It's sort of a pseudo-church, if you want to put it in those terms.
How did they get started?
Well, they began as Christians who denied the Trinity. Unitarians.
Unitarian, okay.
Yeah. Hence, exactly.
Hence, Jesus was the Son of God.
They believe. Yeah, I think they did, but not a Trinity. You know, kind of like Jehovah's Witnesses kind of thing. You know, back in the the day.
I have to show you this. I have to show you this. I brought it because I have 2 copies. I'm giving it to a lady that works in a bookstore on Sherbrooke Street. So she's not open yet, so I happen to still have it.
Right.
I want to just ask you if you've ever seen or heard of this book.
Right. The Bible Unearthed, Archaeology's New Vision of Ancient Israel.
It's written by 2 Israeli archaeologists who have spent their life digging and researching Israel.
Put it this way, I think I've heard of it.
They actually have the chutzpah to say that Moses is a myth. And these are 2 Israeli archaeologists.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
They say that David, Moses, Noah, all these guys are just, somebody made it up. After the exile, after the Babylonian exile, they just sat down and they wrote out all this stuff, and I believe this now. I'm surprised they weren't.
They might be able to be charged under Canada's blasphemy law if they were here, but
why?
No, they probably. I'm joking, but
they're scholars.
I know exactly. The whole point is, and actually, one of the things about the blasphemy law is it does say that if you make an argument in a sort of civil manner, that it's not blasphemous libel. But anyway, the Unitarians, the head office in Boston. It was a misuse of the law. They just wanted me to...
I don't believe in any of this stuff right there.
Yeah.
Any of this stuff. I believe like Islam and Mormonism, I put them exactly at the same level.
Right.
They're exactly the same. Mormonism and Islam, when you look at all the... I mean, Joseph Smith is the prophet of Mormonism, Muhammad, all the parallels, they have their own... I mean, the Book of Mormon, I mean, somebody actually had to sit down and write all that out. And have you ever looked at the Book of Mormon?
I've flipped through it a few times.
Yeah, me too. I can't read it. Try reading the Quran. I've never seen it.
Actually, I've read the Quran.
It's boring, man.
I know where you're coming from. It's very repetitive, and
it's like you learn nothing. I mean, I like.
Well, I wouldn't say you learn nothing.
I would. I would.
But no, I know where you're coming from. It's very repetitive, and anyhow, just going to take care of this situation here.
I can see from my shirt, I prefer Buddhism, frankly.
I can see that. Yeah.
Makes a little bit more sense.
Right. Catch you later. Yeah. So. Another one of those interesting conversations that I have with passers-by. Looks like it's all recorded. That's interesting. So yeah, he showed me this book about some Israeli scholars who basically, biblical archaeology and how, according to him, they basically think the whole Moses thing and Noah thing is total myth. So I just, somewhat ironically said, oh, they might be able to be prosecuted under Canada's blasphemy law. So anyhow, but yeah, this is a citizen who sees my protest and wants to know what it's about, and I tell him, and he sort of gets it. So anyhow, it does seem, again, I'm not sure, but it seems that the woman who confronted me a couple of weeks ago about not having the right to take her picture, video her, may not be Sue Montgomery. I didn't recognize her at the time, and I wasn't sure, but and I'm still not sure, but I'm sort of basically more on the side of it most likely not being Sue Montgomery than it being Sue Montgomery at this point. I did get a reasonably good look at her, although she basically kept her back to me as much as she could. So it's still not sure, but I have a feeling it might be someone other than Sue Montgomery. So anywho, we shall see what comes of that. Okay, guy's putting his shirt up. So anywho, I think we're going to wrap this up soon, and I I think this time we will be calling it a day. But you know, that's one of the nice things is, you know, no matter which time slot that I choose to protest in, there's always something of interest that happens. You know, like this conversation that I had with this fellow. Maybe 25 minutes of the half hour will be quite uneventful, but then there's this 5-minute interaction that makes it all worthwhile. And in the meantime, people are seeing the picket signs. Here we got quite a long string of cars here, and they can certainly see the picket signs if they want. So yeah, we'll do a little stroll back and forth here. Let this long line of cars see the signs. And I think we're going to wrap it up very soon after this, though. The battery's pretty well done, and we're well into a half-hour segment of the video. So I think when this half-hour segment wraps up, or the battery runs out, whichever comes first, that will be the end of the protest today. I'm getting quite a bit of wind. I'm not using freestanding picket signs as a result of this high wind. But yeah, it was nice, prior to that conversation, to have this, cyclist, see my unsafe sect picket sign, and I think she clearly understood the pun, and she comes out with "oh dear, oh dear," yes, oh dear indeed. I think that is a reasonable response to my unsafe sect picket sign pun. So yeah, quite the lineup of cars here. I think I'm going to pull out the unsafe sect picket sign again because it's short and to the point. The ones I have in my hand right now are somewhat long-winded. You got to take the time to read the sentence. So wind is definitely snatch the picket signs out. So but yeah, I think the unsafe sex picket sign is the better choice for now. Yeah, we got about 4 minutes of video time left, so just quite a lot of car traffic for some reason, and it's a lot easier to read unsafe sect than Unitarian Universalist misuse blasphemy law to cover up and deny pedophilia and rape. And then in my left hand I got Unitarian Universalist perversion of justice, sucks you, asterisk you. So I think the unsafe sect picket sign is to the point. So got this young lady coming out of the church who saw my unsafe sect picket sign, and she actually smiled and nodded, which is interesting. It didn't seem like a dismissive smile and nod, almost like she was agreeing with me, or at least recognizing the legitimacy of my little slogan there. So I'll take it as a...
You waste your time.
No, it's a lot of fun doing this. It's very enjoyable. Wonderful hobby. No. If I felt I was wasting my time, I wouldn't be doing it. Anyhow, so this woman's saying I'm wasting my time. Well, no, I don't think so. I think I'm raising consciousness, not just to clergy abuse issues in terms of the Unitarian Universalist Church, but clergy abuse issues more generally. When people see my protest against clergy abuse outside the Unitarian Church of Montreal, although it is specifically about Unitarian clergy abuse, it nonetheless, raises the whole clergy abuse issue. And then the same goes for the anti-religious intolerance and bigotry and so on. So the issues, are broader than just the Unitarian Church of Montreal or the Unitarian Universalist religious community. And I can assure you that if I did believe that I actually was wasting my time, I just wouldn't be doing it. So, just the little conversation I had a few minutes ago, I think justifies my time. So anyhow, it looks like we're probably at the end of the tape or very close to it. Let's see. Oh yeah, very close. Tape, of course, is the wrong word. It's a digital recording, no tape involved. But anyhow, is that the same person who came out of the church? I think it might be. So, people are definitely leaving, and we're wrapping this up. We got another minute or so left. So, yeah, I mean, if something inspires me to continue, I will, but I think we're pretty well done for today. I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish by coming back, or more or less anyway. Part of it was to see whether or not the chalk slogans had been erased, and they haven't been. So that was one of the reasons to come by. Yeah, battery's almost done, and the recording is almost done, so this is it for June 18th, 2017.